Away from that, the request by the President, Bola Tinubu, to borrow $2.2 billion has generated dust among Nigerians. Many Nigerians believe that the money borrowed so far has never yielded any positive response nor having any meaningful outcome on the citizenry, but rather being embezzled and siphoned. It will be recalled that the House of Representatives members last week had argument on the issue that they were not properly informed about it. Our staff reporter, Temitope Adedeji, moved around the city of Akure, listening to the reactions of the people. Here's his report.
Recently, the President, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, demanded to get a loan of $2.2 billion, which has caused a lot of argument among Nigerians, saying the previous government did the same, but nothing to show for it. Therefore, making on and sundry to lose interest or be asking questions on what will be the outcome of the money being borrowed. However, some Nigerians have given their own side of the issue on the loan. Rotimi Ogunleye, a chartered accountant, said borrowing can't be ruled out in every settings, but that government should be accountable to the people and that they borrow to finance budget since the revenue can no longer service the problem we have created.
If you don't steal the profile of loan request, if you want to borrow money, especially government borrowing, you list what you want to use the money for. Then when you see what the money is meant to be used for, and you still see other problems that are lying there, you know that either 2 billion or 2 trillion naira is not enough to do anything in this economy. Nigeria population is over 200 million. Imagine the facility that will be created to meet the needs of these people. You are talking of 2 billion or 2 trillion here. To me, that's not. We have over exaggerated view of government purse. Nigeria government, they are not rich. We are not a rich country, but we're a country that is resilient. So our resilience makes us look as if our country is so rich. And because we don't have a system in place, the system is good enough for anybody that runs it to get so much money and dole out handout to people, and you are celebrated. So when people see examples like that, they think that we have money. What is the entire budget of Nigeria? Around 22, 23 trillion. That is not up to budget of Massachusetts in USA. It's not even up to budget of Apple, if you convert it to dollar. So the problem is not about the volume of money. It can be enough, given the plethora of problems that we have in the economy. It can never be enough.
Ogunleye also said further that the resilience of the people of the nation is taken for its richness and wealthiness.
As a Nigerian, I share the sentiment and the view of some people that perhaps borrowing has not had direct effect on their economy. I agree with this. But then, the issue here is this. Why are government borrowing? Why are governments, before him, all of them have been borrowing. They are borrowing to finance deficit budgets. Why deficit budget? We have elevated our expenditure overhead, government overhead. We have overbloated it over the years. And when economic problem now came, what we generate, our revenue, can no longer service the problem we have created in terms of creating so many ministries, employment. We concentrated more on getting jobs from government, expanding government, bloating government. So when we now have revenue problem, we had to resort to borrowing from international agency, floating Eurobond, then borrowing through ways and means. Borrowing is borrowing, either local or international. So when you borrow to finance your overhead, the people may not see the effect. That does not mean that the borrowing is not going into working or servicing the agency and activities of the government. So why people are complaining is because perhaps the borrowing should have been tagged to specific project delivery. For instance, we have removed subsidy now. Is government borrowing to do some projects that will have direct effect on some aspect of infrastructure that people can leverage on that will relieve them of their burden. So it is when you do things like this that will relieve people of their burden, that they will believe that, okay, what we have gotten money for really was the while, really was the while. Are you getting what I'm saying? So the truth of the matter here is that government will continue to borrow in as much as the revenue generated cannot be enough to execute his budget.
Also, another Nigerian, Bolu Oluesho, a public affairs analyst, said that government has a lot to do in reposing confidence in the minds of people over what they intend doing and supervise strictly so as to justify the money borrowed.
So, as a Nigerian, there is every reason or cause for everyone to even doubt the sincerity of the government, because previous government had been borrowing money, and at the end of the day, there was nothing to show for this quantum of loans that they got from maybe either IMF or international borrowing finance company, or whichever way.
From Akure, the Ondo State capital, Temi Tokpe, Adedeji reporting for KAFTAN TV News.